So, another film I saw at the London Film Festival was La Fille Inconnue, also known as The Unknown Girl. This is a new film by the Dardenne Brothers.
The Dardennes.
The art house darlings. Everyone loves the Dardennes. This was the first Dardenne movie I'd seen. And the plot is as follows.
The plot is as follows.
So, Adèle Haenel plays Dr. Jeanne Davin. She is a GP in Paris who is excellent at her job, so much so that she is about to get a promotion. And one night when she's packing up at her surgery with her young intern, sort of junior doctor character, the doorbell rings, and she tells not to bother answering it because it's way after the opening hours, and if it was really an emergency, they would just ring twice. However, the next day, the police arrive because an unknown woman has been found dead a few streets over, and it turns out she was a woman who was ringing on the doorbell, and Jenny is driven by guilt to find out what the girl's name is so she can have a proper marked grave.
That's a good setup for a movie.
Yeah, so I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I was like, the Dardenne Brothers are pretty good. I guess why these Dardenne Brothers, I get why everyone loves them. And I was looking at some of the reviews for this film, and the critical reactions used to be like, it's a lesser work by the Dardenne Brothers. So I was like, they must be really shit hot if this is a lesser work. If I had to describe the film as concisely as possible, I'd say it's a social realist film noir. And although those two genres are stylistically opposites, thematically they can cover similar ground. And as many crime films have done in the past, a mystery plot is a really smart way to have social commentary in your film, because an investigation narrative allows your protagonist to visit lots of different areas of different economic, age, race, backgrounds, whatever, in a way that is completely germane to the plot. And this is also true of a doctor who has patients from all walks of life come to her surgery, and the film kind of alternates between these two characters coming to her and her seeking out characters. And the film is, among many things, a kind of snapshot of a community or a lack thereof, and it's very insightful about diversity in Paris. The idea of having a doctor as a sort of amateur gumshoe detective is a really clever one, because they're essentially good. Like, if you're going to be a doctor, you've got to be a good person. Just stands to reason.
Unless you're Harold Shipman.
Unless you're Shipman.
Assuming you're not Shipman.
Okay, third act revelation. Turns out she's a bit Shipman-esque. But they're essentially good, and they're smart, and they have a logical pragmatism to them.
Or Mengele.
Those two examples aside, generally, to be a GP, you must be a good kind of person.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
No, not at all. Which is why doctors are often there's a lot of American cop shows. They play doctors or whatever. But I think why it's particularly good here, because this is a film about the area, like the community, is that it investigates the concept of a doctor and how that functions in a society. And it really made me think about, this might be getting a bit too lofty and overthinking this, but the idea of how a doctor throughout the history of human society is like the sort of figure of power in the community, probably that and a priest. And at one point that was just the same person. But as society has become more secular and diverse, like religious people don't really have the same kind of cachet anymore, but doctors still do. And people still, everyone has to go to a doctor at some point. We don't have to go to a priest. And we don't question the motives of a doctor in the same way we question the motives of a priest. Everyone likes doctors.
Yeah.
Less so the clergy, it seems. And in many ways, it's kind of supplanted a religious role in society. And I feel like, maybe this is just me, but the doctor-patient privilege is probably the closest thing I have to like a confession box. You know what I mean? Like a sort of stranger who I feel totally...
Yeah. Forgive me, Father, I have hemorrhoids.
Yeah, but this is a roundabout way of saying is that she's a good detective because people talk to her differently because of her status.
I see, yeah.
Like, because she's a doctor, like, people open up to her because, I don't know, it's just like the power of that role in a society is, like, runs deep. And she is brilliantly played by Adèle Haenel, and it's a very technically impressive performance because she has this detached professional demeanor throughout the film, which, like, never slips. And she is just one of those people, I think it's very true of public sector workers who, like, job defines them completely. And so she is a doctor and everyone is sort of her patient, everyone she interacts with. And she has this coolness to her, but at the same time, she's obviously got this huge sense of guilt because this act has kind of rocked her to her core because she's a person who wants to help people, but she let this person down. And the way this actress conveys that through the most minimalist of acting is pretty staggering. There's also a bit earlier on in the movie where she scolds the junior doctor for getting emotionally attached to a patient, kind of ironically, and that's sort of the theme of the movie. The direction is also brilliant. I think the social realism in a genre film just amplifies the effectiveness of the plot, because a bit like The Wailing, I guess, you're not in a particular genre, so you...
Things don't feel automatic.
Exactly, yeah, nothing signposted. And what was kind of like, this is the opposite in the United Kingdom, in that it leaves a lot of space for the audience. It's so naturalistic, it doesn't tell you how to feel or like what to do in a particular scene. It means you have to like work a little bit harder as an audience, but it just makes the experience all the richer. But it's not perfect. It's like, because it's focused on one character, like some of the supporting players are a little underwritten, but I'm not sure if that's something I noticed on the first viewing, because it's so naturalistic. I'm like, well, that guy doesn't talk that much, you know? That's not bad writing. It's just that's just that guy. You just sort of accept things because it flows so seamlessly. But it is a very accomplished and satisfying piece of filmmaking, and the last 15 minutes are by far the best thing. And like, the ending is so perfect because the film has been building to it the whole way through, and you don't realize till it happens. And it's like
Best kind of ending.
yeah, and it's like you just did it. You kind of pulled off the trick, and it's like, Dardennes, you're good.
Cool.
Yesterday I bumped into Imelda Staunton. She was out with her dog and we got talking. I asked her what she does when she isn't acting. She said she likes podcasts for relaxing.